Tim White of All Power Group. This is going to be a presentation on all the animal myths that we've learned that either scare us or have it where you say, oh, I better not go near there. One that I didn't even put in this presentation, when we would see a sewing needle, as we would call it. It's a bug with wings, and we felt that, and we're told that if we told a lie, of course we never tell lies when we're kids, right? That the sewing needle would come and sew your mouth shut so you couldn't have any more or tell any more lies. So anyway, the first animal we're going to talk about here is the well-known ostriches. There's a lot of things where the myth is that they bury their heads in the sand when they are scared or threatened. In reality, the ostriches don't bury their head in the sand because, and this is logical, they wouldn't be able to breathe. I'm going to have you put your head in a hole and see if that's true. That's for another day. So they would feel, you know, they put their head, bury their head, and yada, yada, yada. Well, that's not what they did, because as I said, they wouldn't believe. What they actually do is they lay their heads and necks flat on the ground to become less visible to predators. This behavior might look like they buried their head a distance away, leading to this myth. Okay, the next one, let's talk about bats. I know we say some people are crazy as a bat, but that's not a myth. But anyway, no, it's true. Hey, I laugh at my own jokes. Don't mind me. Okay. The myth is that bats are blind, but the truth, bats are not blind. So, you know, they're trying to convince you that they can't see you, or you know, that's not true. Yes, they use echolocation to navigate in the dark, which is cool. Most bats can see just as well as humans. Some species, even particularly have good night vision, see as well as adults. So they potentially have radar and they can see real well. So they've got it made. The next wonderful part of this presentation, and as you can, maybe if you've looked at the channel a little bit, I have a preference to dogs and then cats, but there would be where there's no animal that I would say I don't like, except maybe cockroaches. But other than that, we're good. Okay. The myth of dogs, related to dogs, is that they see only in black and white. And when I heard that and felt that, I thought, gee, that's sad, because the world, a lot of times in the sense of looking at the environment, is much prettier in color. Now, what it turns out that they do see color, but they don't see as vividly as we do, but well enough so they're not left out of the color spectrum. You know, very similar to us with red-green color blindness, meaning they can see blue and yellow, but have difficulty distinguishing between red and green. So, you know, there's some issues where they are a little bit different than we are, but they see better than we do, and also they can smell a whole lot better than we do. Now, let's talk a little bit about camels. The myth is that camels store water in their humps. I thought that had no reason to argue about it. But the truth is, the humps on the camels do not store water. They actually store fat, which the camel can metabolize when food is scarce. Their ability to go without water comes from their ability to minimize water loss. So, you know, we all kind of wonder why nature does this or that with different people. But after I went through all these myths and found out the real truth, I said, that nature is pretty good. So let's now talk about sharks. The myth is that sharks don't get cancer. Truth is, sharks can get cancer. The misconception that sharks are immune to cancer has led to some unproven health treatments involving shark cartilage. Now, as we know, people are always looking for the next thing to get real rich. So shark cartilage cures cancer. Well, no, it doesn't. So you're going to have to find something else. The other thing to say with this, research shows that sharks are not immune to diseases, including cancer. So it isn't where they can't get cancer. They can, but not where it's particular to them of where all sharks are going to get cancer when they get much older. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the lemmings. It sounds like they're next door neighbors, but you know, these are these cute little, they look like mice, but they're not. They're lemmings. The myth is that lemmings commit mass suicide. Well, the truth is lemons do not intentionally commit mass suicide. The myth was popularized by staged scenes in older documents, and in reality, lemmings are known to swim across bodies of water in search of new habitats. Unfortunately, this can sometimes result in an accidental drowning if the body of water is too wide. So, you know, when you talk about the myths, you know, you can see where they'd say, well, you know, these lemmings sometimes have to cross water, and in some cases they might make a mistake and the distance is too far. But the point is, they're not trying to kill themselves. So that's good news. Now, the next one is, let's talk about this happy little toad staring at you. The myth is that toads give you warts. Don't mind me, I'm from the New England area. And even though I've been in Florida for 30 plus years, I still have a Rhode Island accent, which in a lot of cases, we don't put R's, the number R, I mean the letter R, in our words. And I admit I have to think about it when I go to say something. When I said watts, you say watts. What's a watt? I'm talking watts. And I'm still not saying it right, but you know what I mean, the little lumps that you get on your skin that you're saying, oh boy, that's not good. Okay, the truth is touching a toad cannot give you warts. Warts are caused by the human papillomavirus virus, which is not carried by toads or frogs. The bumps on a toad's skin are glands that produce and secrete substances that may be toxic or irritating to predators. So that's pretty much, I've gone through them. There's a lot of other myths, but that's where I wanted to bring you up to date. So at least you can put these myths behind you. Now, I'm Jim Whitehead. I've been Jim Whitehead for like 74 years now, and I'm blessed. And this is my job, and I love it. So I thank you. My wife thanks you, Myra Whitehead. And you hopefully have seen Jamie Whitehead. She is my boss because she's really much more organized and, you know, is cuter. So she's the boss, and she is just wonderful, and I can't say any more than that. I know I keep saying this, and I just love animals. That's just the way it is. You know, when I started the channel, I'm almost done. When I started the channel, I tried a whole bunch of different things. Some animal things, of course. Very interested in history, so I would go back on all of the battles of Napoleon and so on and so forth. I'm a history buff. But to be honest, on the top of the list are animals, and that's why I like to do this. Anyway, I want to thank you very much and appreciate you being here. And please stay well, and hopefully I'll see you again. Thank you.